Oh shit! That was dope as shit. That's how Slatter makes. That's how Slatter. Not the douchebag I was playing with yesterday. Look at that destruction. Fucking epic, dude.
Hello?
At all?
Oh, okay.
I'm
About to
just
get
rewatching
started.
the E3 from 2 years ago. That Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. I'm starting.
God, that shit is so fucking slow.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man.
That shit is good.
Alright, let me just turn you down to an appropriate level just a little bit. How's it going?
Alright.
Cool. I thought, I don't know you at all. I just figured maybe we sit and chat for a little bit, kind of get to know each other before we start this thing. Have you seen my channel or you know about me or whatever before?
I've heard your name as a
Oh, that
reference
is
to
so banging.
some of the people that I've debated that they either watch you, Rags, or Furtenga, or Top Hats. It's split between you. Last year, your name came up, then it was Fringy, then it was Rags, and towards the end of the year, I think that's when Furtenga started to get a
That
little bit
is
more
so
popular, so it was,
fucking loud.
then I believe it was 5 of you. But I haven't heard Fringy's name a lot this year, but I still have heard your name a little bit. But, you know, I guess the ranking system is switching around on YouTube. Certain people are more popular in certain seasons than others. I understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Um, so you never were like checked out my channel, see what I'm about, or anything like that?
No, I really do only post on YouTube. I get on YouTube to watch a couple movie trailers or stuff like that. It's just during my work week I don't have as much time as I would probably even want to dabble into looking at certain people's YouTube channels and stuff like that. It's between personal life, video games, and going back to work. Weekend is my only time where I have any free time, and I was supposed to be completing a lot more games this summer. But I promised this open challenge of debates. Then it didn't matter who, and I'm a person that keeps my promises. So, I mean, that's all I have in this world is my word. So
This dummy actually have better
I
royale.
gotta keep it.
I definitely appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. That was pretty cool and actually a little unexpected. I didn't know this would ever happen. So
I mean, it was an open challenge. It could have been Rags. It could have been Furtenga. I did reach out to both individuals, and they, for some reason, didn't want to do it this year. They did want to do debates last year, but for whatever reason, those two did not want to do anything this year.
Sim style.
Interesting.
A
I'm with
stack.
him.
Yeah, they haven't talked to me about it, but I guess I don't really talk to
At
them
least
that
a
much.
stack.
So
Anyway,
I just have a big question. Are you guys
sure.
like a community? Because I don't know. I mean, I hear a lot of your names together when I
Right.
talk to the viewers that watch your channels, and your channels are completely huge compared to mine. I've been around for a while, but I'm not like uh, I'm not trying to be the best YouTuber or the best PlayStation gamer or any of that stuff. So, you rarely hear me talk about my subscribers or ask somebody to rate, comment, or subscribe. I just don't believe in that
Right.
type of stuff. It annoys me when I go and watch a gameplay of somebody else's gameplay, like Spider Man, right? Um, I watched it on PlayStation, I watched it on Marvel, but somebody else posted it and I made a mistake and clicked on there thinking it was the official gameplay. So, at the beginning, they have an intro. Towards the end, before the video is over, they remind me to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I've been on YouTube since 2006. I'm so annoyed with hearing that.
Yeah.
You don't
No,
understand. It's annoying. It's very annoying. I
no, I
will
totally
never
understand.
put any of my subscribers through that. I give everybody the free will to do what they want. If they want to subscribe, they can subscribe. If they want to unsubscribe, they can. I understand. You know.
No, you got the same mentality I do. I never ask for that. I find that really tacky that YouTubers do that, and they do it too much. I 100% agree with that. So, um, yeah, no. But as for your question, are we some kind of community? I didn't actually know about Rags. I knew about Top Hats when I started my channel, but I didn't know about Rags or Fringy at all. And Furtanga came a little bit after. It wasn't really until I guess we all kind of ended up kind of in the same areas together, doing similar kinds of content. We kind of met, but we don't really talk a lot. It's just every so often we'll get together and we'll hang out because we share the same interests, so it makes it easy, you know.
Hmm. So do you
But
guys like have podcasts, like a PC community podcast or a Steam podcast, something like that?
we've had one, yeah. The Four Horsemen of PC Gaming podcast, we've had one, but it doesn't really, in my opinion, I don't know if they like it. It doesn't really go well for me because we end up talking about like SJW stuff more than we talk about gaming, which is what I'm into. I'm not really here for the drama. I'm here for I want to talk about video games and the industry and the communities and stuff like that. That's where my interests lie. So
My foot lost there too.
yeah, we did. We still do every so often.
No,
Anyway, either way, got to know you a little bit. You wanna, jump on in?
I guess so. I mean, it's up to you. Anything you want to talk about.
Sure.
You got to remember, I've a lot of your viewers and the people that respect you and have watched you either for years, or or new subscribers of your channel. I've talked to a lot of them. I'm pretty sure the majority of the people I've talked to, they've learned some stuff from you. They share your views, and that's amazing that you have such a huge fan base like that. So um, there's some things about exclusives that I hear about, and I'm currently doing some different things with the YouTube channel that I've had for years. It's been here for 2011. I'm evolving to a degree of coverage that I would probably not do. So Spider-Man, I believe it's very very smart that people not bitch so much about it being exclusive. There was an exclusive contract title that should have been on PC like every other Xbox exclusive, but is not because the contract that was made was for the Xbox system. That was Sunset Overdrive. I believe I owe it to Insomniac to play that game, so I am currently hunting on eBay for a very, very cheap Xbox. It could be anywhere between $150 or close to 200, but nothing to or above. And my sole purpose for that purchase is to play Sunset Overdrive. I will also do a review on the misguided attempt that you even need or don't need Xbox Live to do certain things like party chats and play online free to play titles, which I've told many people you need gold to play free to play titles. But I'm definitely going to be getting a cheap Xbox. Hopefully, I'm getting it
I got
before
6 more
Spider-Man
fucking
comes
people
out or
and still
near
not
when
still.
it comes out. For the sole purpose of Sunset Overdrive, I have to do a comparison. Um, but yeah,
Okay, so do you wanna talk about exclusives? You mentioned
yeah.
it a
I
second
mean,
ago.
I wanna know. You seem like one of the most educated people I've talked to on Discord during this whole challenge, and I believe you can
Okay.
give me some insight into um, why they're bad in your personal opinion. I believe you're gonna have the
Sure.
most superior opinion that I've ever heard during this whole summer, and I can't really wait to see like what what you say. So what like why
Okay.
is it bad for the PC community? And I have to add this tad bit in here because I've gotten this on my YouTube channels a lot from a lot of PC guys. If
Sure.
you will eventually get the game anyway through emulation, why is exclusives bad if 5 years, 6 or 7 years, emulation will be supported on the PC platform that will allow you to play the game anyway?
Oh
Right.
my god, if you
Okay.
don't pick this guy up
So
more,
one thing that I was actually just about to say was I really respect your mentality for the company, right? You think about the brand that you want to support. I appreciate that, and sometimes I feel you go too far. But let me try to explain that before I just start jabbering. When it comes to exclusivity, I think that if there is a video game that I'd like to play, like you said, Sunset Overdrive or the new Red Dead Redemption or Spider-Man, which looks pretty fantastic, and I wanted to play it on my PC, I think that there shouldn't be a restriction for that, especially if I'm a paying customer, which I would be. For that product, and I would prefer to purchase it instead of emulate it, because if I emulate it, there's no incentive for me to purchase it. Now, I do still go out and purchase the game. Breath of the Wild is an example of that, and Smash 4. I play those on my PC through the CMU emulator, but I have a copy of those games because I wanted to support Nintendo. Um, I just think that from the get-go, these developers, they make these games, and they're typically pushed by Sony, or under contract by Sony, owned, becoming first party. And they end up making games like The Last of Us, Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, and it would just be, I think it would be nice if more people could have access to play those games. I
they
think just in a
can.
world where video gamers themselves could just say, I want to play that video game because I'm a gamer, and you just can.
But they
I
are.
think
They
that's
are.
better for everybody. And I've heard you say before that like there's some platforms that couldn't handle God of War 4. Of course they couldn't. Like the DS. I have a DS. There's no way you'd put that on there. But as far as we could go, I think that's a reasonable thing to ask for. I certainly would prefer to pay for the game instead of just emulate it. I don't like piracy. That's just how it is.
I respect that. I respect that. But yeah, just a little bit more history about myself. Um,
Sure.
I was a Nintendo fan, a hardcore Nintendo fan. Uh, and even though when I was a little bit younger, before I found out I was a hardcore Nintendo fan, I did have a PlayStation One, and it was beside a Nintendo 64, and
Mhm.
I started to lean towards PlayStation, but not because of the brand. It was because of the game. There was a wrestling game, WWF No Mercy, that was exclusive to the Nintendo 64, and I used to play that religiously. But then I ended up getting a game called WWF SmackDown Part 2. That was on the PS1. And the graphics were a lot more realistic and they were a little bit more smoother. They had more customizations for the characters. So I spent even more time there. I was unfortunate enough to understood the factor of memory card. So I would always create my character, and then I had to end up turning the system off, stuff like that. When I eventually got my memory card and I started to get more games, and started to play them and understand it, it was better. But I always moved around. So Nintendo was there for me when I always moved around, and in terms of the handheld market. And I had a lot more fun as a child with the Nintendo 64, going over my friend's house, bringing my controller and playing Super Smash Brothers, playing Rampage, playing what is that game called, Xena. I don't know if you remember Xena, the television series. They had a video game, and I very much enjoyed playing that game. I mean, there was a lot of co-op games, couch co-op games titles for the Nintendo 64, and I was a big fan of it. I moved on to the Game Boy Color, then the SP, and the last handheld that I had for them was the Nintendo Dual Screen or DS. And big Nintendo fan. Love their series. Love Golden Sun. Love Pokemon. Zelda. Big, huge fan of Zelda. Do I want to return back to Nintendo? I wanted to return back to Nintendo for 3 generations now, from the Wii to the Wii U and now the Nintendo Switch. The push is a lot more real than any other time in my life to return to Nintendo. But it will not be specifically just for the be a fan. It'll be more just for a few games, like Smash Brothers that I see right now, and maybe that might be it. There are so many great characters in that one game this time around, and all of the features and stuff that I know and love from the past Smash Brothers, that it's a no-brainer that I need that game in my life this year, and I'm gonna have to have a Nintendo Switch to get it. Yes, I'm planning on buying a used one. My initial idea was buying a brand new one for $300, but seeing as though there's other games that I want to get that are going up on the radar, Red Dead Redemption, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, these are games that are multi-plat, and I've never purchased a Assassin's Creed game a day in my life. I have never purchased a game. I don't even think I've played a game fully on Assassin's Creed, except for that one Vita title. Yeah, it was a Vita
Oh, come
title
on.
that I picked up, and
Jeez.
Oh, he's having
yeah,
a debate right
it
now.
was all right for a Vita title, but I never finished it. I got real bored. But this one, it's less stealthy and more combat. A lot more decisions. You get to be a guy or a girl. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna be picking it up day one for the first time. Red Dead Redemption clearly is a no-brainer. Um, but Nintendo is lacking in third party. They have exclusives, but some of their exclusives are kind of boring to me. I mean, I think I've grown out of the phase where Mario is that interesting. Yeah. So I want to return to Nintendo. And I understand that they have a similar thing like Sony. They have exclusives that are not on other platforms. However, it seems like the PC community has it down packed to emulate their games a lot faster because it seems to be a
Yeah,
little easier
it
to
seems
do
pretty
so.
easy.
Yeah.
I think the reason is because their tech, their hardware isn't as powerful, so it's not very hard to emulate the system because most people's computers are far vastly more powerful than the Nintendo Switch. Think about it.
Yeah.
Whereas like the PS4 and the PS3, they had different architecture that's a little more tricky. I think actually the Xbox 360 emulator is the one that's the hardest. The PS3 emulator is working so far. And I think Red Dead Redemption is running at about 15 FPS, which isn't doable for me yet, but it's on its way. So,
Mm.
but I'm curious as to what you think about emulators in general, because I've heard you have
Uh,
arguments and debates
I
about
got
them before.
I have lots of gameplay on the YouTube channel. Once again, before you guys, I guess it's been 2 years maybe. I've been messing around with the PC community, so I've been on YouTube with this channel since 2011. So I've have emulator gameplay from my cell phone from years prior. I have modded gameplay from Sims 4 from I think 2 or 3 years ago. I got Sims 4 on the PC exclusively when it came out. Brought it 2 times for me and my then girlfriend. Day one, pre-ordered it, had mods for it, gameplay commentary up. Loved it. I even had mods running on my PS3. It's a little known fact that the PC community was making mods for Unreal Tournament 3, and those mods only worked on a PS3. You could only use mods on a console for the PS3, not the 360. It should have been a lot bigger news back then, but it wasn't. I caught on to that late. Um, like
What am I
running
supposed to do here?
Halo, Gears of War, all of those type of mods. I had like Cloud Strife mods, Mario, Zelda, all of that type of stuff running. So I don't see emulation as bad. Being able to have the ability to play the different types of games you want on one platform. Mods, I think they're pretty impressive. I mean, a couple weeks ago I saw Power Rangers instead of the cast of Final Fantasy 15 running around, and it was hilarious. I mean, mods are pretty damn cool. Do I think that they should add more mods available for the consoles? Yes, they're powerful enough to run them. I was running it on a PS3, but it is up to the developer and the company if they think that's the way they want to go with certain games.
Emulations and roadblocks in the way when it comes to that. Have you heard about Breath of the Wild, though? The CMU emulated version of Breath of the Wild has mods. Did you hear about that?
I know you guys emulated that fairly early because what is it? It was already on the Wii U. Yeah, and y'all had the emulator already pretty much up and running before the Switch was officially announced. So, no, I didn't know about the mods. I knew about it was running and it ran damn pretty good. But yeah, I didn't know about the mods. I'm still waiting for I've watched the Spider-Man mods. I watched the comparison where some of the versions of Spider-Man in the comparison he used the PC version modded and made the game look a lot better. Spider-Man 2, 3, Amazing Spider-Man. I saw those mods, but definitely Monster Hunter just came out on your platform, so I'm waiting for the mod support and see what you guys do with that.
Yeah, I got that. I went and got that on. Actually, no, wait a minute. I can't say that. That was purchased for me. Thank you, Ollie, for doing that. I can't be like, oh, I bought it.
I do think that's a good feature. I mean, me and the PlayStation Legion, we help each other out all the time, get games for each other, PSN cards, but the gifting, that gifting feature, I think that it should be available on the PlayStation Network, and it should also be available on Nintendo and Xbox. I think it's a good feature. I'm really interested in next generation, but I understand there's a lot of games I need to play. It's a lot of stuff that has to be said and seen this gen before we can get to next generation, but I expected a lot more features. I know the systems are going to be powerful. That's a no-brainer. We're going to have better looking games, but I think next gen they should start ramping up on the features. You know, they're going to be powerful enough to run those features. There should be no excuse to not have some of them.
Which features are you talking about specifically?
Oh well, gifting, allowing that's a no-brainer. That's not taking up anything. You could add that with a firmware right now if they wanted to, but mod support from developers, that would be cool. Like true mod support. The modding community on PC is impressive, but if a developer really wants mods, they should allow it everywhere. I mean, I know how Bethesda is. They allowed mods this gen on Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and it came real late on PS4. But I don't know how in-depth those mods are. I haven't picked up either one of those.
That's basically the same, dude.
Let me kind of go over the reason why some of those actually can't go. And don't get me wrong, I love the idea of you guys having mods. That's fantastic. That's actually a long time coming. And I was actually, when it came out, I was like, thank God. That needed to happen a long time ago. However, there are some mods, especially on the PC, that you have to download other texture packs and stuff that you can't do.
Oh, I already know about those. I'm talking about customizable character type mods. Now, trust me. I saw the Grand Theft Auto photorealistic mods a couple years ago, and I saw what you guys done with Grand Theft Auto 5. But Grand Theft Auto 4, there was some impressive photorealistic mods. It's like you wouldn't know that it was a video game.
No, I know, right?
I mean, the lines are getting blurred everywhere.
Oh my God, man! Damn, I hate this fucking game.
So,
Fucking hate this
I want to touch
shit
on
game, man.
more of a heavy topic, if that's okay.
Cool.
So I get like ridiculed if I don't ask you about PC beggars. Like you tend to say this a lot. I'm curious as to why or what you mean by that.
I just wanted to make up a word that would be used. I mean, I literally was the only person using the word, and so what happened is at the time, before even making the video, I didn't even have the idea for making up the video. I didn't even look at a single tweet of anybody port begging, but I was very interested. So the power of the PC is something that you guys clearly can brag about if you have that power. There are some people that support you that I've debated, and they believe that they can trick individuals like myself into believing they have a computer or a gaming rig that they don't actually have. I just went back on my Facebook yesterday and found my brother's gaming rig. He spent over $3,000. It literally was a monster so big that the PS4 Slim, Xbox Slim with the Gears of War on it, and the
Why?
Wii,
Why is this a mission? Oh my
literally, if
fucking
you
god.
mix those together, it still wouldn't be as big as that rig. That's how big and massive that rig was. Um, and God, he bragged a lot. He literally turned
So
into a PC
idiotic.
gamer.
This
He
is so
got rid of
idiotic.
his consoles. He only came back to consoles this generation. So he was gone
This game
from
is so
consoles for, I say,
fucking
about roughly
idiotic.
about
Who
5 or 6
designed
years.
this idiot game?
So, with that being said, I've got told this a lot, even to this day. I can run this, or I can do 60 frames per second. There are some games like Gran Turismo that's running at 4K 60, and people comment, even though it's public knowledge the game is 60 frames, they comment 30 FPS, and that's false. I mean, it really is false. I can't fight everybody in the world that's gonna give out fake information. You know how bad that is these days. But so I got kind of pissed, and I was wondering, like, what, like, our system's underpowered, but there are games that people wanted. And the one game the year prior, was Bloodborne had just came out, and people wanted that. And then I said, let me just do a tad bit of research, and it didn't really matter what it was. I just wanted to see if I could find out if anybody else wanted. There's 12 days, and there's 12 months in a year, so I said, let me just find 12. That's it. It doesn't matter what PlayStation system was. I think it was a mix between PS2, PS Vita, PS3, and PS4 exclusives. And I found some change.org petitions. I think one of them was another petition, and they were some games that people had put petitions in for. And I thought it would be interesting just to make it public knowledge that even though our system is weak, we have some attractiveness to it. It might not be the features, they might be inferior compared to the PC gaming rig that you have available to yourself. There are some people that I already know are using their household computer that is not the one to brag about. But I just wanted people to know, especially the PlayStation gamers, that you have a system that is envied. You support a brand that is envied in some sort of way. Um, and we talked about this earlier, but I think it's a cheapskate to say I'll just wait for an emulator. If you really want the game, um, and I think if you really want something to change, you have to go to the source. I don't think petitions are a smart way. It's a public embarrassment to a degree. I've been talking to the developer, Insomniac Games. I've gotten quotes and confirmations as early as this morning. There was somebody that, and I don't know if you can correct me on this. So I want to read this tweet out, and because it sounds stupid when I read it, and I did contact Insomniac with the information so they could help me out with this. Fuck, I got all these damn Spider-Man shirts.
This is the worst game I ever played in my life.
Hold on. Where is it? Oh, here we go. The guy said the new Spider-Man is a port. It was made on a computer, but it is not the same kind of port as a re-release. And I did tell Insomniac that that guy said it, and their response to me, and I did make sure I had a screenshot, they said it's not a port. Anyone saying that it doesn't understand how video games are made. I mean, I think he missed the point that they have a game development kit. Every system does. Yes, computers are an important part of game development, but it is not created specifically for that platform. It's created for a console. Now, Spider-Man games have been on everybody's platform for many, many years, and I've got Amazing Spider-Man
Just like,
2.
why do I have to
Somatic
be
just got it from eBay for a cheap price. I don't know if you know that the license is gone, so it is hard. This is not the simplest of tasks. The game goes as high as $250 because they haven't made any more physicals and they won't. And since they took the rights back from Activision, they don't have it digital on PlayStation Store or even Steam. So it is hard to get this game that I need to do a proper comparison to show you the quality of the laziness of Activision. I think everybody understands that Activision has gotten full of themselves for many, many years now.
I hope the person who designed this mission goes straight to hell. I hope it gets
they know it will sell. And the last Spider-Man game they created was just pure laziness. So
I agree. I remember the port being awful too.
Exactly. So that's
game's complete trash, man.
What would make me if you were to
Somebody's saying a lower somatic.
make me a beggar? Like what aspect of me or trait that I have would it be?
You per se, I don't think you're a beggar. You know you're well educated on what is going on. You know that Sony owns the development. Let's say Naughty Dog. They've owned them since 2001, right? So like 17 years they've owned them pretty much. They own Naughty Dog pretty much right after the success of Crash Bandicoot, and when Crash Bandicoot, they weren't making Crash Bandicoot anymore, and Universal took the rights, blah blah blah. Then other people got it. The game got milked. Crash wasn't as good as it used to be with the first trilogy, but they still brought. Sony still brought. One second.
Why can't I just destroy that thing? So senseless. Is he still debating BulletBarry?
Yeah.
I don't hear anything.
It sounded like a moment ago.
How did he see me? Oh my god, this is a bad level design. I'm not gonna even try. Just do this shit all over again. Just so
I'm probably gonna have to eat in a little bit. I am fucking starving. Okay, Bullet. I'm still here. What did I eat today? Damn, I think I only ate a little apple juice. Okay, so what makes you a port beggar? I don't think you're a port beggar. You know that Sony owns the rights to certain things and why they own the rights for the appeal to buy their system. Without exclusives, especially Sony, they would take the biggest hit after coming off of I would say a defeat. They ended up winning at the end of last generation. They did outsell the Xbox 360. Their life was longer. They did have more notable exclusives towards the end, such as The Last of Us and even Uncharted 3. So they did end up winning. It took a long time for them to overcome a year head start from Xbox, a cheaper system, a more established
I don't need a
online
notification of this.
infrastructure. But they still, despite all of that, they came back. And I do believe in part it was because of exclusives. I know this because, I mean, I was making videos in 2008 and 2009 before my channel got flagged down. So I was a part of last generation's quote unquote console war. So Sony's talking about making what, $20 billion last year from the PlayStation brand. So far this year, $17 billion. If they, the main reason, the attractiveness of their system is their exclusives. You take that away, they're probably going to go down the path of Sega. So I don't think it's fair that they should have to give away their exclusives just because there is a demographic that wants them. However, I was talking about first party just now. There are lots of third parties that I'm now coming around to your point of view and everybody else's point of view that I don't really see a hell of a point at all with withholding those games from any other platform. A prime example with Crash Bandicoot. It was not public knowledge that that game was going to come to another platform. It was not. Not last year. That information came out publicly by Activision this year. And like I've said, Insomniac, if you ask about the game going to another platform or you suggest that the game is a 1 year timed exclusive, they are actually on Twitter commenting back to just random people with these misinformation. They reply to me, I follow them, they follow me, they know I'm a PlayStation gamer, they know I'm a Spider-Man fan, a comic book fan. I make sure that they correct the people that are spreading information because it hurts their sales chances. If people think it's going to come to another platform later on, there's no real reason to even buy a PS4 or buy a PS4 for that game. But a game like Crash Bandicoot should have never been exclusive. Activision knew what they were doing. They knew they were going to put it everywhere else. Now, did they take advantage of the feelings that PlayStation had towards that character back in the day? Yes, they did. They had so many nostalgic commercials it wasn't even funny. But they should have never did it. And then yet again, they're doing it again. Spyro the Dragon is coming out on PS4 and Xbox the same day, but they haven't announced the Steam version. They haven't announced the Nintendo Switch version. I don't understand that. Neo Part 2. Neo came out first on PlayStation. Towards that end of that year, it came to PC. They have talked about a PS4 version, but they have not avidly talked about the PC version. They should not be doing that. I mean, we know what they did with their last series, so if they're going to put it on everybody's platform, do it. I like what Sega has done. Sega has came out and said, you know, we understand that there's some people on the PC that like the Yakuza series. We're going to put all of the Yakuza series over there, starting from 0 on to Part 1, the remake, and then, of course, Part 2. They're remastering Part 3, 4, and 5, which were released on the PS3, so they're not getting remakes, they're getting remasters. And then the PS4 version, which is Yakuza 6, will come. Now, you guys have catching up to do. We have catching up to do with the remake of Part 2, the remaster of Part 3, 4, and 5, and then we'll be caught up as far as having the games on the current generation, all of them on the current generation system. I think PC, you guys will be missing remake of Part 2, the remaster 3, 4, 5, and the remaster sorry, in the 6th version. But I don't know how they're going to spread them across. But I am happy that they have confirmed that they are all coming over to the PC instead of making you guys wait in confusion, not knowing if it's going to come or when it's going to come. Same thing with prime example, Red Dead Redemption. We already know it's coming over there. We know the pattern that they deal with the PC community. They haven't really publicly came out. I've heard PC fans say they take long because they want to optimize it better, and I can understand that. But there's still no reason for taking 2 years across 2 generations to put that game on the PC platform. I didn't see that. Rockstar is what their name entails. They are rock stars of gaming. These guys have money. They have the studio. They have the staff to put the game on 3 platforms at the same time. They choose not to. And I still don't know. I don't know why. But we all know Red Dead's coming over, but they won't give you guys a release date and they won't tell you when. And that's what I don't agree with. Third party exclusives, third party versus third party multiplats. If it's going to go to somebody else's platform, let them know. Let everybody know. Because they're going to go and buy another system thinking that it's not coming over when it actually does. And then maybe you got the wrong system.
So I appreciate the mentality that you're starting to gain. May I introduce possibly something else to let you chew on? And I'm not going to keep you for, I know you're hungry. I only have a couple more questions for you.
I can wait, man. I'm not starving, but yeah, keep going.
Okay. So the one question I have is, would you say a good business has one product that keeps them alive? A good business has one. I'd say that's not a very good business. I'd say that's quite a flawed business. And the one thing that keeps Sony alive is their exclusives, and there's potentially another company that could rise up and do it better. But the reason Sony's still alive is because people buy into that I would say lazy system where all they do is offer video games instead of maybe
Semantics loving Spider-Man.
something that makes their platform different, something that makes it unique,
annoyed
like it
me
used
with
to
that
be.
stupid comment.
Would you say that
He
perhaps
said another
Well, they have
company
strong
saying,
third-party relations
kind of
too.
a lazy and
I don't
maybe
get how it's hurting
unworthy
them.
way of making money for Sony instead of,
He's saying that
doing
them
something
relying on
unique.
one thing's gonna bite them in the
That's how
ass.
Apple stays alive.
I guess
They don't do
sometime.
anything different. They just do the
But they're
same
not relying on
old
one thing. They have third-party support as well, so it doesn't make sense.
crap. Spec them this
Yeah,
generation
they have the
because
strongest third-party support.
these gimmicks,
So what
people
is
call
that?
them,
That doesn't make
on
sense.
their consoles, innovative way to play the video games. Yeah, the cardboard costs way too goddamn
That
much
applies
money.
more than it's
But
in.
like, you're building something with your hands and playing a game.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about third-party because they're
That's
ignorant.
kind of a cool thing. And I feel if exclusives weren't alive, they weren't a thing that developers and corporations like Sony and Microsoft used to, that they could utilize, then they would be forced to compete in a better way. What do you think about that?
That doesn't make any sense.
One of the best examples of what you just said. The PS4 versus Xbox One. One of those people decided to put their games on another platform, and they are not only less popular because of that, they're less popular because of their stance in the beginning of the generation with DRM, having the more expensive system for over $100 by forcing you to use a motion camera that nobody liked last generation, and then scrapping it and making it cheaper.
I gotta eat some cereal.
There was a lot of fuck-ups with Microsoft. They didn't have Game Pass back then. They copied off of Xbox Live Gold. There was a lot of things that they didn't have that they changed. Did they eventually rise up? I can't agree to that because one of the other things that I believe is hurting them is they didn't really have a good reason for putting their games on PC, but actually not putting them on PC. They claim that they want togetherness on PC, but they actually don't. If they really cared about you guys, they would put all their games on Steam. I don't know if you heard Ark Survival. Eventually, I want to get that game. But Ark Survival, it was really bad on the original Xbox. You know, the original Xbox was a weak piece of shit. But it went to PC, right? Now there's 2 different versions, and I don't agree with this. This goes into crossplay. There's a Steam version. There's a Windows 10 version. The Windows 10 PC gamers can't play with the Steam users. Same game. One's Windows, one's Steam. They can't play together. The only people that can play together is the people that brought the Windows 10 version. They can play with the Xbox community. But the Steam version can't even play with the Windows 10 people or the Xbox community. So Microsoft has their own agenda too. However, at face value, everybody just sees, oh, they're putting all their games on PC. There's a bigger side to PC than the stupid ass Windows Store, and I think I agree more than anybody that if they really want to put their games on the PC, put them on there. I'm due for an upgrade on my laptop. It's roughly about 5 years old. So I think I'm due for upgrade. Got about $400 or $500 for my budget. I want to do more editing, better editing, stuff like that. But whatever laptop I get, it's probably going to be able to run games. I can run games on this one. I had Sims 4. Somebody gifted me a game after one of the debates. The Vagrant, similar to what is it? Odin Spear or Dragon's Cry. One of those type of side-scrolling games, action games. So it hurts them. You're right. Not having exclusives.
BulletBarry.
Once again, there's more details into that. It's on Windows Store, not on Steam. But still, everybody says, okay, Xbox doesn't have exclusives because they decided to put it on PC. And it's like, why should I buy Xbox if I can get it on PC?
Well, why would
even
you
though
put it on PC?
the people that are even claiming that, myself included,
And what do you
we're
think
not
we're
going to
doing?
buy that shit on Windows Store either. I mean, I've talked to many people leading up to you that they're telling me Windows Store is garbage. It's flawed. It's buggy. And they don't want to buy their games there. I've heard one report where they don't even remember that you bought the
Come out,
game.
what do you think you're doing?
I'm like, that's horrible. So
I'm gonna do the figure 4 leg lock on Mr. Miansky.
What's going on, little cat? Obey your master. Good job.
You just mentioned it was like, no, I don't think I have any games on.
Cat is one of my minions.
I don't think I have any at all. No, I
Jump
totally
on Mr.
agree with
Miansky.
you, but I just don't.
Jump
I
for
don't
your
care
freedom.
enough. I don't play it. You know, I don't want to use the Windows Store. It's not good.
you said God of War or Gears of War?
No, Gears of War. Did I say God?
Yes, you said God.
Oh, no, God of War.
He said
Not God of War.
Gym of War.
Either way, what
Basketball.
Going on,
Yeah.
now?
was,
The basketball war just beginning, Mr. Meowsy. Stay tuned. Get out of here, stupid cat.
Right, because they don't have exclusive anymore. They die off.
Wish you understood a word I was saying.
And something else fills its place. Something that's actually
It's not like
really cool. Doesn't
trying to think like the dog from Married to Children, where he just like he's smart and he's thinking on the inside.
but like all of their
That
games
probably
go
was.
everywhere.
You never
It's
know.
a whole
That's true.
multi-platform console. What would you think of
The only
that?
probably only understands
What
it
would you
is
think of a
saying yo.
multi-plat console that has a really cool
It's the only way they can communicate with us. They don't even meow to each other.
Nintendo Switch where you can take the games anywhere? Or
I love that. I mean, I love the Switch. Don't get me wrong. I really, really love the Switch. I would have got one last year. I
it's
could have
kinda
got
stinky.
one at any time. I mean, literally, I just started buying all this shit to
Smells like
rearrange
Asian
my
people, I don't
room and do more on-screen videos. Dropped $200. I still dropped another $60 on a pre-order. I could have had a Switch like 2 weeks ago. I could have had a Switch any month this year, or I can go get a Switch at any time. But the fact of the matter, I'm a type of YouTuber.
I could have got it 10 years ago.
I'm a type of YouTuber that likes to post gameplay, and I have to contract with Nintendo on YouTube to do that. That's what's really keeping me away from them. The type of YouTube channel that I run, I'm not always on camera, just sitting in front of the camera. I like to show people gameplay. Nintendo has interesting games. I want to show them. Do I want to walk around DC or before work, pull out my Nintendo Switch and play a couple games? Yes, I would love that. I'm a handheld gamer. I really, really love that. That is in my DNA to play on the go. But if I do that, that's all it's used for. I can't post YouTube videos. I won't be able to stream from it. You know, I don't know if they have a video editor on there. There's some things that are keeping me from wanting to spend that $300 right now. Now, once it drops, it might be a no-brainer option. I mean, if I can find a used version, a very good used Nintendo Switch on eBay, then I'm gonna get it for a couple games. It's sad, but yeah, I need that game. I need that system for a couple games. I think if you, let's say Google, they're planning on entering a console race, and what you said is true. If you know they have a way of a streaming service, and I know they're kings of this type of streaming thing and all of that togetherness with the Google accounts. If they can find a way to have the Google console and then whatever phone you have, and you have the same game and you transfer in the game saves and stuff like that, it'll be interesting. You have another competitor that takes risks. Yeah. The way you put it, and then having me look at this generation so far, hopefully it's probably only 2 more years left until the new systems come out. So 2020, Sony might have not took a lot of risk in terms of having anything similar to Nintendo. They still had the microphone, they still had motion control in the camera, they still had the motion control camera. Sorry, they had motion control in the controllers from the 6-axis technology on a PS3, and they still had the motion control camera that launched with the PS4. Same time as the Xbox came out with their Kinect. It wasn't forced upon you, know. It was a $60 camera, and if you wanted to buy it, you could. It came with free games. It also, of course, it's able to capture you while you're live streaming, and the games have free trophies. All of these other different things. They even had a little augmented reality studio thing that I don't even think works anymore. I tried it the other day. Long story short, there were some risks taken, um, but primarily I think they banked on AAA quality exclusives rather than taking so many risks. Because there were risks taken last generation. I bought into those risks, and I liked them. A lot of people outside of that didn't like them. So instead of virtual reality this time, which I believe, just saying it, it is a risk that they took, and they're doing good off of it. They're the only console you have right now this generation that did virtual reality and is actually doing good with it. Has amazing titles. Last gen it was motion control, but that was Nintendo's gimmick. And when when Sony came out with it, it was more accurate. I know. I have videos still up. It was a lot more accurate. I like that the kill zone of last generation got an update that allowed me to use the Move controller and the PlayStation Move motion control gun. But a lot of people saw it as, okay, they're just doing what Nintendo did, even though they had research and development as early as 1998 or 1999. But it was still looked at that they were copying. So some of the risks that a lot of people don't think they took last year, and they did take, and they might have said maybe because of these risks, we also slipped up. I still think it's coming out a year after Xbox 360 at a more expensive price. I think that haunted them for a majority of the generation. And I think that this generation is going to put them back in a position to be able to take more risks like you're looking at, and have something different to offer the gamers next gen. But you have to do this to get to where you want to go. I mean, they got very cocky after the PS2. They didn't expect to be so popular with the PS1, and then they tried to do whatever they wanted to do with the PS3, and we see how that turned out. Also, they took a whole year to come out. Would not recommend any competitor doing that. Nintendo's in a league of their own; they can get away with that. But the other two, Xbox and PlayStation, no. But if it was another competitor, and it's able to get the backing from the third-party developers, and it does have something to make it different, whether it's a gimmick or a feature, or let's just say exclusives, then it will be good. Would it entirely mop the floor with the other competitors? It's pretty much up in the air at this point. Right now, the Switch is young. It is very young, but it's already almost at 20 million. Microsoft, for some unknown reasons, won't give the public the sales of the Xbox. They're the only people that are doing that this gen. I think Sony is at 81.2 million sold. So I believe at the middle part of next year, Nintendo Switch probably will outsell the Xbox One. Smash Brothers is going to be a good title to sell it. And I think they're the weakest link. So Nintendo doing what they do and being different, and we need different. Every generation needs different. Doesn't matter if it's just two people or one, but every generation needs an option to go outside the box and play something different. So I think Nintendo's always going to be there for them. It doesn't matter if it's younger or it's just the gimmick of that gen. I think they're always going to be around. There's nothing going to happen to them. Sony and Microsoft, however, Sony could die at any point. If they get beat too badly, they could die. If they had bitch in their blood last gen, they would have died. And it doesn't matter how many games they brought out last gen that I liked. If they would have died, it was nothing I could have done. But they had a fighting spirit. They did not give up. They should have. Microsoft had dirty tactics. They brought exclusive DLC for whole years. They did timed exclusives for over 2 and 3 years. very dirty tactics, though dirtiest it could get. This generation doesn't even compare to how dirty Microsoft was last gen. And yeah, they should have beat PlayStation so much that they would have went bankrupt. I mean, I think we all know that those were the rumors that Sony was going bankrupt and they were going to be out of it. And I don't know how they found the strength that came back. I don't know what was going through their head when they came back, but they came back. And I got to give them the respect where Sega, if they were in that same position and they were similar, they would have had to give up. The competition was too tough and they didn't see a way to do anything different. But I mean, if Sony goes under and they become a third-party developer, maybe other people will get good quality titles. I don't know, but we haven't reached that yet. I don't know who's gonna be there. It's between Google and Atari. Atari's making a new console. Google's talking about a new console. Apple's done some stuff like that before. Hopefully they get into the race. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah, the more the better, actually.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Right now, there's been 3 generations now of Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, and PC. PC's been around for almost forever. So yeah, we need another competitor. I heard Sega wanting to get back in it. But if they did that, they would have to take the games that they made multi-plat and put them exclusive again. So, I mean, I don't know. I want to ask you, do you think that every game should be available on every platform, and will that knock somebody out? Like, somebody losing their exclusivity of their franchise games that made them who they were, do you believe if you take that away, and Nintendo is included in this, if you take that away, who do you believe would be the weakest link? So let's just say Sony versus Nintendo. Microsoft's not going anywhere. They are Microsoft. You can ignore the Xbox brand. They have money to spare. The system is not in the best condition. It's not being brought. They have their games on other people's platform. The value of the system is lower. You can trade in a PS4 Pro and get more money than an Xbox One X. And that's at GameStop right now. So we can't say anything about Microsoft. They can keep that zombie alive as long as they want to because they have the resources and the money to do so. I'm saying between Nintendo and Sony, if one of those, both of them give up all of their exclusives, do you believe they will equally die out, or do you think one will be able to survive and the other won't?
Okay, so I think if one of them had to die, or even if one of them didn't have to die, I think Sony would be the one to go. And the reason I think that is because of what I said earlier about how Nintendo innovates the way you play their games. When it comes to, let's say, Sony and you had a Xbox or you had the PlayStation or you had the Switch and you could play all the games on either of those. And let's say you had the PC in there as well. If I have access to all those games, I personally would go for the PC. However, Sony has also multiple times shut down people from playing with other people of other platforms. So you can't play Rocket League with your friends on an Xbox, whereas I could do that on my Nintendo Switch or my Xbox. So that's a big thing that I would say would screw Sony over, and Sony has screwed itself over with that, in my opinion. And I also think that their inability, or, well, I wouldn't say inability, they got enough funds to do it, but their unwillingness to innovate this generation, other than the VR, which I think was,
Alright, now he's getting stupid.
They just don't show enough that they're passionate to make gamers play a different way. And if you're looking to play the game a regular way, that's fine, but then I argue, why not just get a computer?
Wait, did he say a different way?
They would have a lot to offer.
Yeah, he's being stupid now.
What?
If it stayed the same,
What's that even mean?
He doesn't know what he's talking about. This is where he's being exposed.
So you think that PlayStation brand would go under, but like they make movies and other stuff, so that part of Sony would. I just wanted to make sure anybody that's listening that we're talking about their gaming branches, we're not talking about the company as a whole. Nintendo only does gaming. Me personally, I would say Nintendo would be the one that goes under, because as of right now, if that decision was to be made, and it's realistic that it could be made right now, as we are talking, it could be made because Microsoft did it. They did it. They did it before the Switch came out. They made the decision to put their game on another platform. So if Sony and Nintendo really want that to happen, they can do it right now. Now, I believe Nintendo would take a hit because they've only sold roughly 20 million systems, and then you got Sony that did 81 million. And then it's a faster selling system, all of this other stuff. It has currently award-winning games. It has the community, it has an install base. If they was to give up their exclusives between Nintendo and Sony, and knowing that Sony has more money than Nintendo, not just because of their game division, but their other stuff that they do, their contracts with Disney, with the Marvel series and stuff like that, I see Nintendo losing. Because outside of just making video games, what else does Nintendo do to get money? You get what I'm saying? And since they're not as profitable as Sony right now, this generation, if you put their gaming hardware, Nintendo Switch versus PlayStation 4 consoles, they're not selling at that rate. And I think that they would take the biggest hit, and they know this. This is why they fight against piracy, and this is why they sued that guy. The two websites for emulation.
Emu Paradise and Cool ROMs, yeah.
Yeah. They just sued them, and they won those cases because, from what I hear,
I don't think they should have won those cases, but that's all.
Yeah, I know, but from what I hear is the reason they're fighting piracy a different way than or emulation a different way as PlayStation. PlayStation put out PlayStation Now. They don't really care about it. I know they don't care about it because they don't even promote it half of the time. But they have it out there to say that we still have old games and
Michael Myers,
they're still for sale. Nintendo, they don't really have that. And a lot of people aren't bagging on them for this, but they took away the virtual console feature that was on the Wii U. They don't have that feature currently on the Nintendo Switch, but they are launching
some other shit.
They're online, which I thought their online already launched, but they're launching their online in the middle of September. And I believe one of the main things of their online is they're going to be reselling older games digitally. And maybe they want to clear up the emulation because they want to force people to buy their system to play their games. But that goes exactly to what Sony's doing. Exclusives are important to both of them. The lifeblood of Nintendo is all gaming. Sony, the thing that brings them the most money is their gaming, right? But this generation is over. They got what they got. Can they push another 20 million to get 100 million consoles sold? They probably can. Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption promotions, they can do what they do. But Nintendo is hurting because even though they have exclusives, there are third-party developers that are not supporting them due to their weaker hardware. And this is where they miss out on those sales. So me personally, you have your opinion, and I'm not going to disagree with it. Hopefully you can elaborate on more why Sony would lose, but there are more developers that have been working with PlayStation for a long time. They're not hard to deal with. They have the resources with the hardware. It's powerful enough to put their games on. It might not be the best. It might not have the best frame rate or the resolution, but you can still play those games on there. With Nintendo, the third-party developers have already given up before Nintendo's first birthday. Sorry, the Switch's first birthday. And do I think that's funny? Yes. Do I think it should have happened? Hell no. I don't think it's only up to the developers to keep that contract and that relationship between company and developer. It's
What the
Nintendo.
hell is this?
You have to fight. I don't see why they took 30 to 40 minutes to talk about Smash Brothers when you could have had more third-party games or developers who reached out to show off their third-party games at E3. But no, they took 30 to 40 minutes talking about a new Smash Brothers game. So they care just as much for their exclusives as people would say Sony does. It's just Sony has more exclusives that they show off during a whole generation. But,
so I feel where you're coming from, but I think in the situation that you presented where exclusives no longer exist, and all consoles, will play all their games, you're right on that aspect. there are a lot of games that Nintendo probably couldn't have on their platform, or if they did, they wouldn't look as good. And I'll totally agree to that. But I think when you also have the Xbox and the PC, and then you ask someone, hey, where are you going to play God of War? I mean, I would just say I'm going to play God of War on my PC because it'll look better, it'll run better, and I have a 144 hertz screen, so like I don't want to play it on the PlayStation. You know what I mean? Because there's like no difference there. If I wanted to play it on the PlayStation, I would buy a PlayStation controller and play it on my computer. Like in that world, I just don't see Sony having much leeway on people like myself. And I think it would be kind of easy for myself to show a person like you, hey, look at this game you love, God of War. Look at it look like this. Get a PC and you and I can play these kind of games together. Like that would be fantastic. And I just don't see a reason for Sony to continue existing in a world like that.
What does that even mean?
If they no longer exist, the quality of their games wouldn't exist. That is a topic that I was never to get into, and we've only been debating or talking. We've been talking and having good discussion for about an hour and 7 minutes. But I want to really go into detail about this because no one has ever gotten this this far and educated without getting confused or whatever. What do you think about the studios that are making these games that are partnered with Sony? If Sony no longer exists, those games developers wouldn't exist, and their vision might have never existed. So
yeah, right. So I 100% agree with that. However, I don't think that if Naughty Dog were to leave, or if Sony were to cast them out, shut them down, or whatever, if Naughty Dog came back under a different name, that they wouldn't make games, or their games wouldn't sell.
Oh, no, I'm never saying that. Sony did one of the most fucked up things, and I haven't made a video about it, but everybody's going to hear it today. I don't like what Sony did when they shut down Evolution. They made MotorStorm and they made Drive Club. I believe that Drive Club got a very bad rep, but if you see that game after all the updates, it had amazing maps, a lot of free content, amazing cars. Sometimes, and I just recently did it, I think I'm going to do another comparison. Gran Turismo versus Drive Club, I think I'm going to do a comparison, a needed one. That in many respects, Drive Club looks better. I like the camera angle. The weather effects is better. I love that they have snow. I love that they have a lot of different types of cars. I love it. The photo mode is amazing. For them to get rid of them. Now, Drive Club's still available to buy. You have it on the greatest hits for $20, shit like that. It's still online. You can still play it. All the contents is there, pretty much all free now. But I wanted those developers to stay around. I wanted them to make a next generation version of MotorStorm, maybe to rival Forza Motorsport. But Sony didn't see a reason to keep them around because, you know, all the critics, I guess, it got to them. And
what are they afraid of?
What's sad about it is Sony I believe they were very shallow. The bad reviews, the critics, they were very shallow, and they listened to them and they said, you know what? You have disgraced us. It's over. Have they done it more than Microsoft? No, but they still did it. And I know I haven't talked about this, guys. I know you guys are hearing me for the first time. I could care less what you think, but I don't think it was a good thing. I think it was one of the worst moments this generation for them because they had potential. Now, those developers bounced back. They made a new studio. They came out with Onrush. I don't know if you heard about it. It's a spiritual successor to MotorStorm. It's a great game. It still has photo mode. It has amazing detail. But they sold the game for $60.
I gotta get in a certain.
It did not do well. They ended up having to do a sale not too far afterwards on the PlayStation Store. Not too far. I think it was like less than a week and a half.
Oh my!
And they sold it for $35. So it went from $60 to $35 in less than a week and a half. And then it still didn't do good, and we started to hear it not just because the developers, because the development of the game was over, but these people were being let go. It wasn't because the development was over, because they had other content planned. They were letting developers go. The same developers that were let go because Sony shut down that studio. So, you know, yes, I believe Naughty Dog can still make games after if Sony ever goes under or whatever, but I'm talking about if Sony never existed and knows what you believe happened sooner than this gen. So let's say the PS2 generation, right? Piracy was very high. Sony could have just said, fuck this shit. You guys want it on PC so bad, let's just put it over there. Instead of you waiting to emulate it or pirate it, let's just put it on a PC. They would have split their development. They might have been a little lazy like Activision, Ubisoft, and EA. We all know their names. They're very fucking lazy. Ubisoft is just now getting the point, and I don't support their games. I don't know if you heard about me. I'm not a big supporter of those multiplats. I don't go out and buy them day one. I don't buy them at all.
Oh,
I've
now
never
the guy
bought a
with
Madden game a day in my life. I've never paid for a Call of Duty game a day in my life. I got a free Call of Duty from PlayStation Plus, if you can call it that. Played it for a little bit, deleted it because it was garbage. I just don't support Activision like that. The only reason why I really supported them day one last year is because they had Crash Bandicoot. But long story short, if they would have went multi-plat going towards the PS3 generation and they didn't have any exclusives, they would have died last gen for sure. There's no reason to have brought the PS4 if let's say a game I really loved, Folklore, a fantasy RPG about a detective goes to England and he finds out there's some mystical creatures. It's similar to Dark Souls mixed with Harry Potter. And Dark Souls, Harry Potter, and Pokemon. So think of Dark Souls, Harry Potter, and Pokemon mixed together. Very great game. They should have remastered it this generation. Maybe it didn't sell a lot. There's tons of games on the PS3 that are good that they just didn't see a reason to remaster. They're remastering the most well-known titles, but they're not giving the chance to other titles.
When it comes to what you're talking about here, what you're saying is if Sony had never bought up Naughty Dog, or
I don't think we would have had a passionate project like Uncharted or The Last of Us, which
maybe not, but we still have things like Hellblade that come from companies like indie developer companies. Have you ever heard of Hellblade?
Yeah, I've heard of Hellblade. Somatic loved that game. He platinumed the game. He tried to get me to get it a lot. I know I want to get the game. I know Microsoft now owns the studio, and I'm not an avid supporter of buying. Yeah, I don't buy games that they support that they brought. And this happened a while. Okay, so We Happy Few, for unknown reasons, it's on the PC, or it has the review score for the PC. And it's the only review score that I saw on Metacritic is sitting at a 66. That's horrible. The user review is a 6.3.
Oh my God,
It's not that much better. So the PC community did not think that We Happy Few was a good game. I thought it was going to be an interesting game, but I knew that it was supposed to come out next year. And I think they rushed the damn development because that purchase was being made by Microsoft. Long story short, Hellblade is a different story. But I don't want to give my money to Microsoft because I know how they treat their developers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't care about Microsoft and I don't care about Sony in this situation. What I'm saying is if there were no Sony or Microsoft and games only were developed on the PC, I don't think that there's a reason to believe that no good games would come out. I think games...
No, I can't say that, man. No. I've played tons of indies that came directly from Steam. I am waiting for a brand new game that spawned from Steam that is going to be a very good game that I love. It's called Brawlout. It's basically like a Smash Brothers clone.
Neat.
Okay, and then you have another game in early development. It's called, it's another game. It's like Smash Brothers, but the characters look like they're from Overwatch. And it's very interesting. Now, it's in early access, and I believe if you guys support it enough, it might end up getting ported to other platforms. I'm keeping my eye on it. So I support a lot of games from Steam. I got Stardew Valley. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Purchased that on the PS4. They ended up giving it to me free on the PS Vita. I get to play it at work sometimes. But no, the Steam has some great gems. You know, you have some stuff you have to get through to see the good games on Steam. Let me say.
Absolutely, you do, and that annoys me a lot too. But
yeah, but as far as backing like money and stuff like I said, I call it AAA because they live up to that name. You got these well-known voice actors. Sometimes you have Academy Award winning people. The orchestras that they have, the soundtracks. I mean, it is AAA. It is truly AAA exclusive. That's what Sony does. They have a reach to Hollywood that Microsoft and Nintendo just can't do because, Sony does make movies. So, long story short, I believe that if Sony wasn't around, or let's say Sony didn't do exclusives, and the PS4 surely would have died without it, I don't think that there would have been an Uncharted per se. There would have been more Tomb Raider, and the developer behind Tomb Raider might have not been inspired to reboot it, and Square Enix might have not been inspired to even buy the developer that did Tomb Raider to reboot the game in the first place because of the competition and the inspiration from Uncharted and The Last of Us. So there were things last gen and this gen that triggered third-party developers to become better. And I believe that there would be more laziness than there already is if there wasn't competition from exclusives.
The thing is, we can't know that. I can only assume, in the same way you can.
Why
that
wouldn't you
maybe there
assume
would
that?
be another company like Square Enix who would have taken the job on, or another Ubisoft.
An
And what I'm
unreliable
thinking is,
company,
from
a
the very
crappy
beginning, as
company.
they're making games, people play the
What's
ones
it,
from the studios they
Ubisoft?
like more.
Companies who
Let's
want to
say
make these
there's
games.
only PC, right? And people like, let's say Ninja Theory. I love Ninja Theory, so I keep playing their games. I keep supporting them. They make a bigger company. They make better games. So I think it's the same exact thing. It's just on one system.
They make a bigger
It's just
company? What
an
does
open
that
market,
even
right?
mean?
Just the same way we have it now. It's only consoles are mixed in. I don't think that we need the consoles mixed in. I think we could still have these awesome games without them. I think the
I think this
consoles
guy's
are
autistic
irrelevant,
too.
in my opinion. And that's a little
Is he
far,
making
but
this advocate
No,
that
no,
Sony won't
no,
You
make
said
that's
it?
not too
making the
far.
bigger company? That didn't
That's
even
not
make any
too far.
sense.
Because I've thought about this for a long time during the debates that I could care less. I mean, I don't care what people think
Ninja
of me.
Theory
I will say what I
makes
Mr.
a
think
J,
bigger
get in
comes to
company.
here.
mind. If we
That
get
doesn't make
rid
any
of
sense.
exclusives, consoles will
You
die.
have Bluetooth?
And the only gaming
Yeah.
platform that
Yeah.
will
Yeah, you
eventually
got
be
Bluetooth.
left is PC. And then everybody will have to be educated enough to build a PC. Do I believe there should be classes in schools for people to build PCs? Yes. Before I got out of high school, uh, everybody was taking computer classes. Computers were the way of the future. We knew that you were going to need some know-how on a computer uh, to be successful in the future. So yeah, building a computer, would there need to be classes like that? There should definitely be classes like that because we all use computers. Not everybody are gonna build the already made laptop or gaming rig, because it might not be built to your specification.
Idiot.
So yeah, eventually, if that ever happened, if exclusives didn't exist, consoles would die out, PC would be remaining. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The PC community thinks it's good. Um, if that happened, let's just say in the next year, where Sony said we're gonna give in, and you guys are bitching too much, and we're tired of it. Here, take our games. No strings attached. Not like a PlayStation Windows Store or a PlayStation Store. No, just put them on Steam. Then there would be no real reason to buy the PlayStation or for Sony to come out or take a risk on making a new system
This is how this game
because
does
it could
that
not
work.
be better than a PC because you can customize it and run games at a higher frame rate and graphic fidelity. So there will be no reason to buy the next PlayStation. There's already no reason to buy a Xbox,
I
even though
definitely need to
their
watch
games are
that
not on Steam.
emulation.
They should change that because a lot of their games don't even sell a million, even their fucking good ones. So yeah, I do.
That's picking
I
his
believe
nose.
that that's ultimately. I don't know if that's what every PC gamer wants for every game to go to PC, but if it happened this generation, you guys would get a lot better games. Now, if that happened a little sooner after the PS2 generation, I don't think there would have been any passion or fight in Sony to make sure they make a game like Uncharted to make people
Well, maybe not.
look at a PS4.
I mean, we don't know that. I mean, maybe not, but we don't know. I actually, there's a question that has kind of been burning me up a little bit. I want to ask you. It's way off topic. But I've watched a lot of debates with you, especially recently preparing for like this conversation. And you're extremely civil right now, and it was just quite a surprise to me because in a lot of other ones you get pretty heated. I'm curious as to what's made you so civil this time around.
Why is he
I
asking
think I was
rhetorical
civil
questions?
What?
Lithium or whatever his name is, the guy that gave me that game on Steam. If you're civil, I'm civil. If you show me respect, I show you respect. There's a lot of people that watch you that are disrespectful. I think you know this. You have no control over it. I don't accuse you of it. I'm not going to blame you of it. You have no control. The bigger you are, your fan base starts to get wild, and there's nothing you can do. Celebrities, rock stars, they have fans, and they do things in their name that I'm pretty sure those individuals won't agree with. So a lot of them were younger and very disrespectful. Um, and I think they were echoing how you feel about these topics, but not quite. You know, now, I'm just gonna speak freely here. Uh, I see them as BulletBarry or Rags or Fratanga ripoffs. They listen to you enough to believe that in whatever debates you guys had or videos where you dismantle somebody's argument, that, oh, okay, let me listen to this and this will be enough to go up against JTech and destroy it, but they didn't really study everything. You know what I'm saying? Your fans aren't the worst, but they clearly not listening to everything and understanding how the world works, you know.
Demalki,
But
hop
yeah,
on board, friend.
no exclusives. There would
Hop
be no
up.
reason for
Yeah,
console.
good cat.
Everybody would need to learn how to do
That's a good little cat.
PC gaming. Me
Another
myself, I have a
following
job.
somebody mission.
I've had a
Oh
job
my
for the
god.
last going on 10 years now. So I've always had money. Just got a new contract, got a raise. I have enough money to buy a gaming PC right now. Do I want to go that route? No. If consoles go under, will I be forced to go that route? Yes. Am I going to stop gaming or get a gaming PC? I'm probably going to get a
Mr.
gaming
Meowski. Hey, Mr. Meowski.
I'm going to assimilate.
Yay.
I saw my brother turn... I saw my brother turn from one of the best console gamers to a PC gamer and back to console. I mean,
Then
people
back
do
to
it all the
Serial
time.
Head.
This generation, more so than any generation I ever saw, there were so many people
Good job,
making
boy. Good cat.
exodus towards PC gaming. Most of the people that I've talked to on the debates, the younger side, they had no choice in the matter to getting a gaming console because that was gifted to them. Christmas, birthday, mom, dad. They're going to get something simple to keep their attention, something cheaper, something that even they can understand how to plug in. And they didn't have a choice in the matter. Now, getting older, and they're less, let's say some of the people I've debated is between the ages of 14 and 16. They want to be PC gamers.
Oh, they're in the pavilion.
It seems very cool. It is cool. You can mod these characters in games that they're not even from and have fun and play around in an open world environment, stuff like that, higher frame rate. There's some attractiveness in PC gaming. I can't deny that. But some people just don't have enough money to do it. Not myself. I choose not to. But a lot of them don't.
And it's totally fine.
Bullet
I've
horny.
always said in my console peasant close videos, if you like consoles, if you prefer
Hey, with the
consoles, you know, that's
Rocky,
totally
what can
fine. There's
you
nothing
do,
wrong with
buddy?
that. And on that note, there were a
Hey.
couple more things because, like I said, I watched a few
Copycat.
debates, and there were a few things that you said in those debates that, and forgive me, I'm going to seem a little bit like a prick in this next or in this next segment here.
Okay.
But it won't take long. But essentially, there were some things that you said, and I wanted to present you with some evidence for what you said and see what you think now. Is that okay? I have a
Cool.
few links and sources for you.
Oh, God, no.
So that I'll send you the link, and then I will kind of touch over it. But essentially, this one's about piracy.
Okay, Bullet Pancake.
This survey have 50,000 PC gamers talked about do they pirate or not. And of those 50,000 PC gamers, 35% of them said that they pirate. But if you look down here, there's reasons for why they did. Some of them, most of them put that they pirate because they're young and can't afford the games. The other ones said that they pirated because they wanted to beta test the game before they decided to purchase. What do you think about this list? 35% is a huge number, but what do you think about there?
I think Bullet's stinky
I
smell.
don't have any thoughts on it. I thought you were gonna bring up the piracy thing. There's piracy on the console that equal that.
No.
Okay. I started sweating bullets there. I think. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. There's been different reasons why people have brought up. The main reason in the debates that I've heard was they beta test the game. If that's what you want to do it. It's still piracy, but that's what you do. What I was saying is that developers do keep track of that. You can't just say the developers are not keeping track of their investments.
No, they totally do.
Exactly. They do. I gave an article to I believe 2 to 3 different people I debated about Ubisoft's quote against piracy on PC. And how they said for their games, not for all games, for the games Ubisoft makes and puts on PC, it was a lot higher. It was in the 90% range. That is them. That is how they feel. That is how they see it. At that point in time when the article was made. I can't argue with that. Unlike Crap Gamer, I just report the news. If I see that, and that's what they said, then that's what they said.
Right. I think I remember that article, and if you don't know, there was more news that came to light on that. Apparently Ubisoft was trying to put a DRM to all of their games, an always online DRM kind of thing, which was Uplay. And the way that they were justifying attaching that was saying that there was a lot of piracy. This was one of those articles that actually puts Ubisoft to shame a little bit by showing that they lied about that. And then Ubisoft came out later after this was posted and a few other things and said, yeah, our DRM actually doesn't stop piracy anyway. There's no reason to have it, but we're going to have it anyway. So
yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with Resident Evil 7. Capcom
Negro, who is
wasn't
you?
initially happy that the game got cracked so fast, and they weren't initially happy that it was pirated at all.
What the hell is this?
It did sell very well. It made their money back on console. That's one thing I can say about console. There's freedom.
Yeah,
on
introduce
PC.
yourself or
you
be
don't
weird.
have to buy those games. I'm not telling you to buy those games. I think
Okay, be
at
weird
some
it
point
is.
in time in anybody's life, me or you, we have
What do you
pirated for
want?
different reasons. So
Are you retarded?
exactly. So with that being said, it's there. I just don't want people to
Retardado.
what I was very frustrated
Arthur,
and heated
what do you
about
want?
was,
Why are you
I
here?
think it was one individual, it could have been 2, that when I talked about piracy, they fought it
I hate
not
like
with
this,
facts,
It's cool.
Who's the
like you're
party
giving
leader
me,
all the time?
not with
No, don't worry.
insight
I'm gonna just block
that
him
I
so
might
he
not
don't
know
me too.
because I'm not
Not perfect.
a native
They won't even
PC
let me go to his
gamer, but
profile.
they said that, well, consoles have piracy too, and I said, okay, well, do you have any proof to present me that it's equal to that, to the piracy that's on PC? I know the
Oh,
only
this idiot
major
thinks
way
so.
Sony
Mr.
tries to fight it
Slade.
is by having these
debating
firmwares.
Bullet Clary.
And I know you hear about the firmwares that they
Debating Bullet
just
Faggy.
give us firmwares and they don't do shit. There's just a new number of a firmware. And if you look deeper,
Woke up
and you
from
go
his
Get
back,
out of here!
it's a way to update it so it won't have piracy. Are people trying to crack it now? Yes. Are people trying to make
This guy's name
homebrews? Yes.
Author's World.
They're not going to stop it.
Hate
Eventually,
people like this.
it's going to happen. However,
yeah.
they've done a damn good job this
Finally got kicked.
because
Block him.
last gen
Who the heck was that?
they pretty much cracked the
Some idiot.
PS4 like PS3.
Being idiotic.
I think a year or 2 after they did it with Xbox. Yeah,
What are they
it's a lot
talking about?
easier last gen.
I have a
I'm talking
friend.
about
It's really funny because
Talking about
so I don't know
happens?
if you know this about me. I was a computer hardware
Maybe
technician
bullets
for a
that are
couple
out
years.
there?
I built over 2,000 gaming PCs, and I like to
What does
break
that have to
into
do with
technology
you,
and you know f around with it. And when I got my 3DS, I actually hacked it and put homebrew on it. I don't know how you feel about that, but I just want to, you know.
I feel amazing about that. I can't wait till people say, "Why do you feel amazing about that?" I mean, I told you I was a handheld gamer. It's not like I didn't mess around. I've been okay. So Nintendo's handhelds are as followed: Game Boy Color, Game Boy SP, DS. Sony only PSP and PS Vita. I think I have more playtime on the PSP than the Vita. I messed around with homebrews towards the end. I had Super Mario running on it and other stuff. Did I buy the PS Vita? Yeah, no, sorry. I brought the Vita. I didn't buy the PSP. It was a Christmas gift because I was much
Nah, you're
younger when it
fraud.
came out. And towards the end, you know, PSP had amazing games that nobody's gonna be able to play except for you guys. You know, I mean,
Right.
I envy that. I am jealous of that. I have to
Oh,
say.
you don't.
There's a game like Brave Story that I think that
Stop
if
lying.
PC fans have the emulator for it, play it. But also post gameplay because the world needs to know how great that game was. You know, Final Fantasy Crisis Core. I don't know why Square Enix won't remaster or remake that game, but they won't. It was only physical media. It was never digitized. So nobody will ever be able to play it. You know, so
Well, then I'll make sure that in this video, while you and I are talking, there's gameplay of that game in the background.
that would be awesome. Brave Story New Traveler. Fucking amazing RPG. It was amazing. It was based off of anime. They had a version on the DS, but the PSP, for what that hardware was, it just looked awesome. Great soundtrack as well. But yeah, long story short, homebrews, I don't really see a whole problem with that. I mean, you played the games that you wanted to play on there. If you can get it to run, do it. I mean, especially if it's a handheld. You're going out, you know, you have a life, want to pull that out, play Mario on a system that's not actually on there, or let's just say God of War. They have some God of Wars on PSP. If they can run on a 3DS, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I mean, I don't see a whole problem with homebrews. I don't really see a whole problem. The piracy thing, when it gets to the point where it hurts developers or they even bitch or moan, some developers, it can hurt them and they won't say a damn thing. Ubisoft is a bitch. I know them.
Project Red was one that's really cool about it.
Yeah, I heard I got a link from there. I watched the interview. But Ubisoft's a bitch. I mean, I will never forget what Ubisoft did last gen and what they said. That made me stay away from them even more. Even though I didn't buy their games last gen either, and I just didn't buy any of their games this year because of what the fuck they said. And I quote, the systems just aren't powerful enough. We can't do what we really want to do. Now, they never really dug into the PS3. I know it was a difficult system, but they never dug into it like Naughty Dog. Well, Naughty Dog was getting Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3, and Ubisoft was producing garbage on consoles. And they wanted more power. And that more power was the Wii U. And they didn't bitch.
I bet they wanted
it was inferior to some of the current gen consoles. And they didn't bitch. They were all over the Wii U because they thought it was the next coming of the
that was a
Wii.
good idea to put
They
that
jumped on there because they thought it was a cash cow. And they never brought that up. Now, they have all this technology now, and they find other reasons to bitch about why people aren't buying their games. I don't agree with that at all. But that's just Ubisoft. That's my history with them. I don't like how they lie at all. I've been knew before you told.
Oh my god, that's
exactly. I knew before you told me that they lie. And I know how much they love Nintendo because they know it sells some of their stupider games, like Just Dance. You know, they put that on the oldest of Nintendo systems, the Wii.
You're not holding on to.
I don't even know if anybody has a Wii, except for my mom. And it's downstairs for Netflix only. And she doesn't even need that for Netflix because technology has evolved so much that when I gave her my smart TV, my Samsung smart TV, after I got a new Sony TV last year, or the year before last, she could do Netflix on the TV. She didn't even need the Wii. So the Wii is in the basement, literally collecting dust.
Can I have it?
Yeah, Netflix is injected into everything these days.
Yeah.
So this next part, this is the part that might make me seem like a prick because it may go against maybe some of the fundamental things that you've said before. But I wanted to show you these because they're quite important to some of the arguments that you've made. This is a stat chart from 2017, and this one is from 2018 from developers at a developer conference talking about the most important platform to them. It doesn't name the developers specifically, but it does say that these developer conferences go from small indies to large corporations.
Oh my god.
Wow, man.
Actually,
That is fucking awesome.
Is he really
Okay, can
bringing
I?
up the fact
No,
that
I
small
mean,
indie developers who can't afford
I'm gonna
to put
say,
the game on
man,
consoles
I give you a lot of
for
respect.
PC?
I did
Because
no
it's free?
research on you. I just know of your reputation, and
Is
you're
he
living
really?
up to it, man. You're doing something that none of the other people that support you've done. They rarely
piss you
give
off?
me
Showing-
stat charts.
He's
This
showing
right
you
here,
that a
this is
5-year-old
amazing.
prefers to put his
I never
shitty
saw
games
this
on
before.
PC.
You have a link, right? Yeah, this is pretty impressive because I'm looking at the fact that the Xbox One X is so low. Like, why is it not important to them? Well, let me bring something up. Keep your train of thought. Let me bring something up. VR wasn't going to only be for PlayStation. Microsoft was going to copy. They had some replicas. Yeah. But then they had these other ones. After the HoloLens, they had these other replicas that it was going to be a third-party effort. They were going to help make it, and then they were going to put it on the new Xbox, which was called codenamed Scorpio. After they saw that Sony was very popular with it, and they clearly was still kicking their ass, and just the hardware of the console and the games, they decided that they didn't want to take that extra risk, and they scrapped it. And this is another thing I don't like about Microsoft. They only do stuff if it seems like they're going to win or they're the first person to do it. If it doesn't seem like they're going to win, then they're not going to do it. And yeah, that just, you know, you can continue. But this is one thing I don't like about Microsoft, even though I'm about to buy an Xbox One for the purpose of a YouTube video. I'm going to be buying a used one. A very, very dirt cheap one. Hopefully it still works, but that's what I'm planning on doing. So people can see that exclusives are... I don't know. Xbox has one exclusive that I believe is still theirs, and that's Sunset Overdrive. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but all the other ones have went to the Windows Store on PC. I think Sunset Overdrive isn't going there because Insomniac, the same people that's making Spider-Man, said it's up to Microsoft, and if it goes to PC, then Microsoft's gonna have to pay Insomniac just to port it over because there's not a current, you know, PC port. And it doesn't seem like Microsoft has a team to port that game over either, because if so, they would have did it already. But the most important gaming platforms 2018, we got current developing for 60%, most interested in 59%, PS4 Pro 39%, PS4 30%. So did I say anything in the debates that would lead you to?
You mentioned a couple. So the reason that I bring these up is I was just listening to your debates while I was playing some video games, and I would hear you say something, and I was like, oh wait a minute, I know something that kind of contradicts that. So I'd go and I think one thing you said. It was in the Fortanga debate. I think you had that about a year ago. You said that
I hate that debate.
Developers don't care about the PC. And I was like, well, wait a minute. That was in 2017, and I know for a fact that developers do because I saw the statistic of things.
Oh,
so I'm going
man.
to present this to him and see what he thinks.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't remember half of the shit I said during that debate. I literally was freeballing. I know you listen to the newer debates. They're a lot more civil and more educated. I just watched this anime called Princess Mononoke from Studio Ghibli, and
I love that one.
yeah, long story short, you know how they're destroying the forest and the animals start to go crazy. They go back to their primal state where they're just fucking making noises. They can't even talk. And I gotta say that I was like a wild animal in that debate. My primary purpose for that debate was to make a god bleed. I wanted everybody to know that it was more of a gamer debate. It wasn't like anything else. I just wanted everybody to know that Fortango was not actively gaming as much as I am. I run a gaming channel. That's what I do. These things are related to gaming. JayTechTV is not because I know about PC technology or stuff like that. It was a different name, so I wouldn't be flagged down if I named myself Pyro 2000X Part 2. I made that was my original name on YouTube. That got flagged down. The Pyro Show that got flagged down.
Yeah, sure.
And then another thing with Pyro got flagged out. But the year I got flagged down, earlier that year, before I got flagged down, 2011, I made JayTechTV.
Jack Lou's biscuits.
My first name starts with J. I like technology. My PSN name before I even had a PS3 was TechBoy88. So I said, let's mix J and Tech together. And what's more commercial? And I said, let's put TV in there. And I said, JayTechTV, right? And after all of the channels kept getting flagged down, this was the only channel I had left to fall back to that nobody knew existed. So I fell back to this YouTube channel, and when I really had to fall back,
I didn't even know he wasn't
I think
on
it was heavily towards 2012.
Well, remember, I was
where all the
going at
gameplay
it.
stuff. I mean, my
That's
most
true, you're
popular
an
videos
abrasive
are
Negro
gaming.
back then.
They're not about other men or anything like that. They're not fanboy related.
Alright,
they
still,
are video
but you're
game
anti-racist
gameplay
Negro towards JayTech.
So, yeah, I wanted to make sure people knew that
So I
he
make
was
you look
not,
good.
not active with gaming. I didn't really like the fact that he kept calling himself a gamer, and yet he did have the resources. He gets games gifted to him, and I mean, be honest, I have 800 hours in Monster Hunter. I believe he'll listen to you. He respects you just as much as I respect you right now. And I believe if you tell him, can you post yourself playing Monster Hunter to show your, your gaming skills, I believe he will actually post it.
I think it'll bother him if I get this. Hey, Fratanga, if you're watching this right now, F you. I think that'll bother. No, I actually get along with him. I actually play games with him and stuff. Every so often, he's an
yeah.
dude.
I
watched them both
didn't
play-
plan for that debate at all.
I watched
just
them
wanted
both
to
play PUBG together.
debate
and
him to the
both
wire
sucked.
about the games that he brought and what games he was buying.
I want to ask
Most of the
BulletBarry,
stuff I
why
said
didn't
in
you
that probably
friends
wasn't
with
paying
that idiot?
attention. But this chart is amazing. And you said you do have the link, right? Okay, there you go.
Yes. So I gave you both the links to those, and I think they come out every year. There's a developer conference. I do have one more couple stats for you. This one right here is TweakTown.com news talked about how much PC generated over consoles in 2016, I think. However, this is embarrassing because in this article here, Business Insider, which I just closed, mobile games beat out PC and console by a lot, and that one was one.
Oh my God, Barry, you're a nerd.
Everybody
I
has
think
a
we
phone,
both can agree
dumbass.
that mobile gaming is pretty much.
Yeah, that's not really a valid. That's not really a valid thing to use because
Yeah,
everybody
it's
has
so
phones.
much money though.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's just
go.
they have good games. Like, okay, Ark the Lad. It's a PlayStation Japanese RPG. They didn't do shit with the franchise this gen. They didn't do anything with the franchise last gen. But I hear, oh shit, they're bringing back Ark the Lad. I'm
fucking
so
bimbos
fucking
that play
hyped for
Candy
it.
Crush, man.
I said,
They're
they're
not
bringing back
gamers?
a PS2 era Japanese RPG.
Wasting
I'm
money
gonna
on a
really
phone.
awesome.
They are.
We could
Kids
use some
spending like
PlayStation
$20 billion
exclusive
on
Japanese
those
RPG. I can't wait to see what the
microtransactions back
graphics.
If you put those people in front of a real game,
It's
they won't
a
know what the
cell
fuck to do.
phone.
That's what I mean by
Exactly,
not a real
thank you,
gamer.
sir.
You know,
Yeah.
I got punked out like that a lot.
I don't like
this
calling
gen.
You
people
said
casual. That's
so.
just
So I
worse
stopped
than being
caring.
casual.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I can
that
imagine
cell phone
everybody has
shit
a cell
doesn't
phone,
mean
so
anything.
it's easy to play games on there.
The one above it, the reason I bring that one up,
Yeah, everybody has a phone, which is everybody.
442.
Seeing his little
Exactly.
4-year-old
That's a
kid
lot.
playing a game, probably wasting money on him. That kid doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. You barely jack
Listen to
off.
crackhead playing a game on his phone.
There you go. Cracky.
No, I mean that's smart, man. I'm not gonna. That's smart. You're supposed to do that.
But you mentioned that consoles make
Son of a
more money
bitch,
or
I hate
something
this.
than PC, and I have to say that.
That's a lot. God damn.
It's a lot of money. The PC
I'm
makes
not sure
more
what
money
mobile
than all
gaming
the
has
other
to do with
consoles
the PC and console, but
which has been kind of a trait since
Damn
2016.
it.
JayTech's converting to PC.
Sony just said that last year they made 20 billion and from the PlayStation brand, and then this year they made 17 billion. I have those links too, but this is from 2016,
Frigging head has gone.
Do you have like
Can I please sing
TweakTown
over
is
there?
where it's coming from?
Oh,
Do they have
Jesus
like an
Christ, this
up-to-date
game is annoying.
article that will let
You
us?
just showed the indication. Let me do it.
They only have this survey from 2016. I'm sure I could probably find something somewhere else. And if you want that information, I will find it for you.
Thanks.
Because I'm curious myself. But what I do recommend, if you like this kind of info, I'm gonna shamelessly plug myself real quick. I feel like you might enjoy the Console Peasant quotes, at least the ones I do, and the reason is because in the Console Peasant quotes, I talk about fanboys from every platform. It doesn't matter, and I think gamers should just all be gamers.
Wait a second.
If you're a prick, if you're a PC elitist, if you're a console peasant, you can.
How did he still hit me when I did that shit?
I think you might actually like that now that I've talked to you.
Like, you started this debate out like being offended that
before
people
you
are
go,
called pork
what are your thoughts on Crap Gamer? I mean, I know it's an insult, and I know it's made to be funny. It hasn't gotten underneath my skin, outside of the fact how different we are. But some of the PC fans say I'm the PlayStation version of Crap Gamer. Like I said, I've been here for a long time, so I don't know if that's accurate.
You are kind of fat.
He's a PlayStation version of MLB, if anything.
turd gamer.
So I end up finding like the kindest version of that person. So I don't know if I can say because I haven't actually spoken with him. And actually, if I were to be honest,
This game is so bad.
I would have, had you asked me what is JayTech going to be like during this debate, I probably would have said he's going to be rambunctious, he's going to be irritating, he's going to be very angry. And I'm pleasantly surprised.
Bite your foot.
Oh, another, you know what? Another reason why I was very, very irritated that day. That debate went on right before I had to go to work. Yeah, and I hate doing shit before work. I mean, I got 4 hours when I wake up at 10 o'clock, and I have to leave at 2 o'clock to hit the DC before the traffic starts. So, yeah, that's why I made the challenge weekends only. So I have as much time as I need to give anybody to debate for as long as they want. You know?
Okay, this guy's pissing me off.
So yeah, I wanted to have another chance with Fratanga. It would have been a better debate. It would have been a better talk. I mean, if you want to call it a debate or talk, due to the fact that if it's on the weekend, I'm calmer. I'm sitting down now, got this gaming chair, and I can talk for as long as he needs to talk. To get some stuff out in the air. But definitely it was a lot of shit that I was just saying out of my ass, man. I was like, literally, I think it was like a couple minutes and I had to go. And it was like, I know how much time was going by. I was like, damn, man, is he gonna ever shut up? But, yeah, you know, he listens to you, man. I would definitely like to talk to him, or even Rags, you know. I mean, last year, he wanted to do debate. And I don't know if he still wants to, but this has been a great talk.
Yeah, this has been. I really appreciate you actually agreeing to it. I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised that you you agreed to that too. So definitely.
White man stubborn among
thank you everyone else out there for watching this video. You may have a different look on JayTech right now. If you do, go ahead over to his channel and say, hey, from BulletBarry. And if you don't, go tell him to screw off because he sucks. And that's all fine and good. I'm just messing around. What do you have anything that you'd like to ask or say before we end off?
The PC community can do something that I think that nobody over here can do. You can play a version of Spider-Man that I think you guys need to play. You need to mod it. You need to emulate it. You need to set it to its highest potential. There's a game called Spider-Man Web of Shadows. It literally is the best Spider-Man game before the newest one. It's the one where Activision actually took a risk. They had cameos as far as Luke Cage and Wolverine. You get to switch between the Venom suit and the normal suit just with a R3 tap. Different combat. It was amazing. And I don't think a lot of people know about it, but it is the best one. And since it didn't get a remaster or a remake this generation, you guys are the only ones that have access to it. But, you know, if any PC gamer is planning to do a comparison in any way, negative or positive, towards the PS4 exclusive Spider-Man, that is the game you should be using. Me and Somatic we both own the last Activision Spider-Man game, and it is lazy attempt at a cash grab for amazing character. It was horrible. Is it raining?
Oh my god, can we just skip
yeah,
off
it
this?
was horrible. Yeah, so even you, man, check it out, man. It was literally the best Spider-Man game. The reviews, for whatever reason, is lower than a lot of the other ones, but Activision started to milk the franchise like they did with Crash Bandicoot. Like, they just wouldn't stop making Spider-Man games, wouldn't take a break. But yeah, definitely check that out. You know, like I think that if you guys want Spider-Man, if anybody breaks down and say, oh, okay, I need a PS4, let's say Black Friday a PS4 is $200. I don't think you should not have a secondary system if you just want to use it for exclusives until any decisions are made to go multiplat or something like that. But definitely, Spider-Man Web of Shadows. That literally is the best Spider-Man game that anybody has access to right now before the new one comes out. That's where the comparisons should be made. That's where the mods should be made. It is an open world environment. It would be interesting to see what graphics, shaders, and textures packs that you guys could make for that game. I know everybody loves Grand Theft Auto, but yeah, I mean, I could be bragging about this YouTube channel, but don't really care. I think this is a lot more important than anything. I've always been the type of gamer that wants to get the information out. And yes, Spider-Man Web of Shadows is the game that I think everybody should be focused on modding, emulating. Get that shit, man. Definitely. Okay, that's it.
I actually will. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
Putting me to sleep, Bullet Frankie.
So much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Go.
Make America great again.
I'm gonna go look at my foot. I feel dirty.
Bullet stinky, put me in a coma.
Okay, debate's over. Oh, discussion over.
Oh, Yankees win.
Yeah, so that's what happened with that. So, I guess. I do gotta say, man, it is really, really interesting that the outcome I wanted someone to say, they never said it. He's the only person that said it. That if consoles go away, every game's gonna go to PC. I want every PC guy to say that when I was debating him. Just say it. Just be honest. You know that's the outcome that's gonna happen. If we don't have any exclusives, consoles all die, and every last one of them, you know, it's gonna be no reason to have one. Somatic, you still there? Or you fell asleep?
Yeah, I'm here. No, I'm just going to
Put Somatic asleep.
Somatic, you still love Spider-Man? The Amazing Spider-Man?
kind of like a conversation with that, man.
Come on, man, when your debate? Can't wait for yours. See, I know that shit's gonna be heated.
Yeah.
Why? Why is it going to be...
Is there
Because I
angry?
know how to diffuse people, man. I've been on YouTube for many years. I know how to make people feel calm. He literally looked at some of the more negative debates. He was looking for a fight. I knew he was looking for a fight. So you just calm yourself down with certain people. Just like a female, right? They say the best way to go at a raging female is to restrain them. Instead of smacking and punching the shit out of them, you should restrain the female until she calms down.
And then smack the and punch the shit.
Hey, where did this guy come from? Get him out of here. This weed smoking, Sonic loving, Fortnite playing motherfucker. Get him out.
Yeah, Sam, you weed smoking, Sonic loving Fortnite player.
What's going on, man?
Tell me about.
I just want everybody to know before the end of this podcast, in the next 6 minutes, Mr. J has a Sonic the Hedgehog tattoo on his upper back.
Well, I actually have Mr. J on my arm.
Oh,
but-
God, please no. Oh, God. Somebody get him out of here, please. Help me out. I'm so fucking hungry, man. So how you like the discussion? It was kind of putting me to sleep towards the end because it was too calm.
I mean, it was cool, I guess, but
I'm glad he gave me some good information.
Wasn't funny.
I mean, that's the whole reason for these debates.
That's
is
funny. I want to...
because Somatic, I have a fucking chart he gave me, the first chart, and it was said what are the most interesting systems for developers. Yes, PC was above it, but right below it, really, really high, was PS4. Xbox was below even Nintendo and mobile. So, I mean, I think it's over for Xbox. You're not gonna give out the
I don't
sales
know.
number.
I wouldn't know. Mobile crap. Everybody has a cell phone. It's not a valid thing. So.
It's not a valid thing. He even agreed to it. It's not a valid thing. They have those Marvel fighting games that should not be on mobile. They should be on consoles. But once again, everybody has exclusives, you know. And I think that's just the way of the world. I should have brought that up, but everybody has exclusives, man.
At least he wasn't an idiot. Totally, and like the other idiots.
Okay. Oh
So
yeah. I give him respect for being educated, man. I give him respect. It's still 17.
How are you cool with that creature?
It's still 17 of you guys here. Let me know. Do you want another live stream? And do you want a Spider-Man game to be live streamed? Let me know if you want Lego Spider-Man or Activision's Amazing Spider-Man. Once again, it's 17 of you guys. Comment. Do you want Activision's Amazing Spider-Man or the Lego Spider-Man to be live streamed later this evening? So we can talk about the impact of Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption and Spider-Man and what they're going to do for PlayStation. Because I think that's the discussion I wanted to have with you guys, but everybody wasn't here.
Shitty fucking spider boss.
What's going on, Mr. J? What game you playing?
Mega Man X. I just woke up, dude. I'm tired.
I know, man. I hear it. I'm about to go put this carry out back in the in the microwave, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm probably have some tea later on. Sound like my voice getting a little scratchy. I don't want it to go. Do I have any more debates? I think that might be the one that wrapped it up for this whole series. I mean, I was like Bowser.
You had Brigington, but he left.
No, I wasn't gonna debate him.
Oh, okay.
Okay, somebody said Lego Spider-Man, and Jamar Bates agreed with Lego Spider-Man. Anybody else? Should it be Lego Spider-Man or Activision's The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Activision.
Activision must comment.
You guys don't fucking count unless you comment.
What? That's racism.
2 minutes. 2 minutes to vote, please. 2 minutes to vote. 2 minutes to vote. I'm about to put the voting on Twitter as well, in the form of a poll. So help me out.
How do you start polls on Twitter?
You just push the little thing, and then it's
yeah, they have a thing for it.
Oh, even on phones?
Yeah, should be like an indicator for you.
Why is this even a fun? Fight!
You know what game I want to get for the PS4, Mr. J? And I don't know if it's available right now, but I played it on the Vita. I want to get The Legend of Heroes.
Oh man.
I don't think that's on PS4.
No, we got them on PS4 over in Japan. They're putting the whole thing over there. They made 1 and 2. They remastered 1 and 2 for the PS4, and 3 and 4 are coming. But yeah, they put them on PC already.
I hate this fucking boss fight.
No, you don't.
What are you playing?
Who wrote
Mega
this
Man X.
stupid ass part of?
Somatic, calm down. Calm down. We got 3 people for Lego Spider-Man. We got 3 people for Lego Spider-Man. We got a couple more seconds. Anybody else for The Amazing Spider-Man? It's either Lego or The Amazing Spider-Man. Come on. Let's do that voting. Feet Man is, we can't count that one.
Is it real?
He doesn't even do all these gyrations. I hate this crap.
Somatic, why do you hate that?
Spider-Man does talk a lot, though, Somatic.
No, the gyrations he does and all this eccentric shit, he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
That shit bothers me so much.
I hate this fucking boss fight.
Please let me be close to getting this game done with. It's so stupid.
What part are you at?
Okay. We got Lego Spider-Man. That's the winner. I'm putting the votes on Twitter if you want to do more votes.